The NBA is one of the leading sports leagues in the world. It has quite the reputation and image and has to perform like a business as well. Business means money, and where money is involved, nothing ever is quite what it seems. It is not a question of if the NBA is rigged, but rather how deep the rot is. However, the facts are hidden in a quagmire of players and others who are just not happy to have lost and sometimes falsely blame officials, who are also just human. We dug a bit deeper and came up with the following. This is why the NBA MVP past and present winners are rigged. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with the notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. This is the NBA. The NBA league is composed of 30 teams, 29 in the United States and 1 in Canada, and is one of the 4 major professional sports leagues in the United States and Canada. It is the premier men's professional basketball league in the world. It brings in an estimated $2.6 billion in revenue annually. The NBA's annual regular season runs from October to April, with each team playing 82 games. The league's playoff tournament extends into June. As of 2020, NBA players are some of the world's best paid athletes by average annual salary per player. That is enough to keep most quiet regarding irregularities. The NBA is an active member of USA Basketball, USAB, which is recognized by the FIBA, International Basketball Federation, as the national governing body for basketball in the United States. The league's several international as well as individual team offices are directed out of its head offices in Midtown Manhattan, while its NBA Entertainment and NBA TV studios are directed out of offices located in Secaucus, New Jersey. In North America, the NBA is the 3rd wealthiest professional sports league after the National Football League, NFL, and Major League Baseball, MLB, by revenue and being among the top 4 in the world. How are MVPs chosen? The National Basketball Association Most Valuable Player Award, MVP, is an annual National Basketball Association award given since the 1955-56 season to the best performing player of the regular season. The winner receives the Maurice Podoloff Trophy, which is named in honor of the first commissioner, then president of the NBA, who served from 1946 to 1963. Until the 1979-80 season, the MVP was selected by a vote of NBA players. But here is the kicker. Since the 1980-81 season, the award is decided by a panel of sports writers and broadcasters throughout the United States and Canada. In other words, the opinionated media. Each member of the voting panel casts a vote for the 1st to 5th place selections. Each 1st place vote is worth 10 points, each 2nd place vote is worth 7, each 3rd place vote is worth 5, 4th place is worth 3, and 5th place is worth 1. Starting from 2010, 1 ballot was cast by fans through online voting. 1 ballot for millions of fans seems a bit unfair. What is even more unfair is that the players in the NBA have no say. The player with the highest point total wins the award. As of the 2021 season, the current holder of the award is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. Jokic is the second-round draft pick to win the award, being drafted 41st by Denver in the 2014 NBA Draft. Every player who has won this award and has been eligible for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame has been inducted. How do we know choosing the MVP is rigged? Let's look back at a few examples. In the 2007-2008 season, Chris Paul put up 21.1 points per game, 11.6 assists per game, and 4 rebounds per game. Kobe Bryant that year put up a 28.3 points per game, 5.4 assists per game, and 6.3 rebounds per game. Bryant had a better team to play with and had a win share of 13.8, which was far below Paul's. To make things worse, Chris Paul crushed Bryant with his phenomenal defense. Guess who won that year? Kobe Bryant. The 2010-2011 MVP was Derrick Rose, who was the 3rd best player that year. He averaged 25 points per game, 7.7 assists per game, and 4.1 rebounds per game. LeBron James, on the other hand, had 26.7 points per game, 7 assists per game, and 7.5 rebounds per game. Statistically, James was better. That was the only year that James did not win that would have given him a 5-year MVP winning streak. Rose also had a lower win share total than James, and his defense was worse than that of James throughout the season. In 2001-2002, the MVP was awarded to Tim Duncan. Jason Kidd was a scumbag, but he was by far the best player that season. He had stats of 14.7 points per game, 10 assists per game, and 7.3 rebounds per game. His stats were not better than that of Tim Duncan, but he carried a team of losers early in the season to a solid performance. Duncan still won, barely, but he did. The worst was possibly the 2001 MVP award, and that year Kobe Bryant put up an incredible 35.4 points per game, 4.5 assists per game, and 5.3 rebounds per game. It was Bryant's best season of his career, but only got 4th place. LeBron had a great season as well with 31.4 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, and 7 rebounds per game. Steve Nash took the MVP title, even though he only averaged 18.8 points per game, 10.5 assists per game, and 4.2 rebounds per game. His whole team was built around him. There are still many examples of players who should not have won. These include Julius Erving in the 1980-81 season, Steph Curry in the 2014-15 season, Karl Malone in 1998-99, Magic Johnson in 1989-90, Allen Iverson in 2000-2001, Karl Malone again in 1996-97, and Dirk Nowitzki in the 2006-07 season. The players who were better did not always win the MVP. Why? Because the media may have been in cahoots with each other selecting the MVP. Money may also have exchanged hands, but there was no proof of that. Is the NBA rigged? If the NBA is rigged, it stands to reason that the MVP award is also rigged. In a 2019 article in the Business of Business titled, "Is the NBA Rigged? Yes and No?" a deep data analysis of the last 2-minute reports, the rigging of the NBA was investigated. Over a decade ago, the NBA was dealing with Tim Donaghy, a referee allegedly betting on games he officiated and made calls that affected the point spread. A few years ago, Ayesha Curry, wife of Golden State Warriors superstar Steph Curry, tweeted about her husband getting fouled out and ejected during the playoffs. That tweet soon turned into a meme. Nearly 3 years after that infamous tweet, James Harden and the Houston Rockets were critical of NBA officials, calling them out for supposed bad calls in the playoffs against the Golden State Warriors in 2018 and 2019. Soon after Game 1 of 2019's Western Conference semifinals, the NBA found that the referees for that game missed a few calls and released a last 2-minute report for the public, fans, players, anyone, to review for themselves. These reports are supposed to allow for transparency on officiating. Referees are human after all, and they make mistakes. It also offers proof for the calls that went right, and generally keeps a record of every foul call and non-foul call in tightly contested games. Which brings us to a huge question. If the referees were perfect, would those close games be turned into the Rockets' favor? Would we be talking about Harden vs. Kawhi or Lillard vs. Kawhi in the finals, rather than another year of the Golden State Warriors running wild? Occasionally, but not always. The last 2-minute reports are reports of officiated events that occurred in the last 2 minutes of games that were at or within 3 points during any point of the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime where applicable. The plays assessed include all calls, whistles, and notable non-calls. Notable non-calls are generally defined as material plays directly related to the outcome of a possession. Similar to the NBA's instant replay standards, there must be clear and conclusive video evidence in order to make a determination that a play was incorrectly officiated. Events that are indirectly related to the outcome of a possession, e.g. a non-call on contact away from the play, and/or plays that are only observable with the help of a stopwatch, zoom, or other technical support, are noted in brackets along with the explanatory comments but are not deemed to be incorrectly officiated. The league may change its view after further review. Let's look at an example of June 14th between the Hawks and 76ers. The Hawks won 103-100, so the game was looked at. Each play in the last 5 minutes of the game was reviewed. On the first line it reads 1 minute 53.6 seconds to 1 minute 46.3 seconds. Quarter 4, 1 minute 47 seconds. Foul. Loose ball between Seth Curry and Kevin Huerter. CNC with the video available to watch. There's a comment by the league as well. Curry, Philadelphia, and Huerter, Atlanta, engage and disengage with one another during rebounding. Every single match where the last 2 minutes has a margin of less than 4 points between the two teams is analyzed and reported on. That, however, cannot prevent a team from losing because their best player was wrongly ejected from the game. The last 2 minutes report help, but are not perfect. A crooked ref can screw up the whole season for a team. In fact, anywhere money comes into play, the results can be influenced, including with MVP awards. There you have it, some interesting food for thought regarding the validity of MVP awards. No matter what system is used, it will never be fair. Do you agree with the current system, or do you want it changed? Feel free to leave a comment below to let us know. We have come to the end of this one, but we will definitely be back. Hope to see you soon. Until then, take care.